Hey there, TNA fan! We're back here again at the 8-Pack Zone podcast to talk more TNA wrestling shenanigans, and I want to know, or I want to discuss, whether there is any chance Tommaso Ciampa will be in TNA. Look, his contract's expired, I believe, so I don't believe, now I might be wrong, so don't quote me, but I believe that he doesn't have as many days on his no complete clause because his contract has expired. So I believe that he can turn around and basically turn up wherever he wants to. Now, obviously, you can say this 1,000 times till the cows come home. There is AEW there, and they can offer him big money, obviously. I mean, maybe WWE will pull their finger out and rehire him. Who knows? They did that with R-Truth, and they've done that with a few people here and there over the years. But I don't know whether they see a lot in Champa. Perhaps, I don't know. I don't really think that they knew what to do with him for a while there. And I think a change of scene, if that's what he wants, that would benefit him because it's a two-way street. If he doesn't want to go back and he doesn't want to re-sign, well, he should say, well, maybe I'll try my luck elsewhere, or whatever. So where would he want to try his luck? Now, again, you can say this till the cows come home, but AEW is very, very full. It is very, very stacked. And a lot of people have gone there in the last year, let alone the last 5-6 years, whatever it's been. And a lot of them haven't been successful. Why? Because it is a very stacked promotion. And yes, if you work really hard, you can stand out and you can get there. But it is a very, very stacked roster, and it'll be very difficult to stand out amongst that roster. Now, I don't want to say that TNA doesn't have anybody, but TNA has a lot less people, and it has a lot more room for a lot more people, and it really encourages people, or would really encourage people, to, even if Champa says, well, I don't really want to be the top guy, I just want to be in the mix and do my stuff or whatever it is. Okay, cool. Well, you could still have a very, reasonable position near the top and feud with some of the top talent here, if that's what you want to do. If he just wants to, bum along, I don't know whether that's what he wants to do or not, but if he just wants to bum along and, collect checks and make money, and keep doing this for as long as he can, and he'll do whatever the company wants him to do, then that's cool too. But again, I feel like if you're not in this game kind of to get to the top, you're kind of wasting your time to an extent, and you're wasting the audience's time to an extent, because you have a story. You've already been in NXT and done something kind of big there, and that was great. But again, even saying at that time, perhaps NXT was at its zenith or near its zenith, that's still not really converted to a lot of the more casual fans. And perhaps, yes, you might say, well, TNA's just about on the same stage or even smaller, but still, you can convert to some more of those more casual fans by coming to TNA because it's much more percepted than what NXT is. NXT is seen as a developmental third brand at best, whereas TNA is seen more of as a proving ground, perhaps sometimes a step to WWE or AEW, but as well as it's seen as a place, a destination for wrestlers. And that's something that you can help cultivate. You can help go there and say, no, it is worth you coming here. You can do very well here, and it is, another destination. for people to come and to work and to, have some form of success, reinvent yourself or whatever. You can do that basically anywhere if you really work hard enough. We look at Matt Cardona, who's just gotten re-signed to WWE, and good luck to him, but you've got an opportunity with this guy as well. So TNA, I think they should definitely try to bring him in and do stuff with him. Maybe he does have a number of dates or whatever that he can't appear. Actually, I'm still confused with the Andrade situation, but if he is now cleared on his contract, it seems like he would be going back to AEW because he's already kind of been there and done that. So we've already kind of seen that he'll be there. So we're just going to have to wait and see if he can actually get through the whole situation with them pulling the trigger too early or just saying, oh yes, you can be on our TV, or him just being like, no, I'll just be on TV straight away or whatever. I don't care. I don't know whether that was what that was. That was kind of weird. But again, so we do need to know what the contractual situation is. I don't know it. I'm not going to dig into it and find out and whatever else. I don't really care if he has to wait 30 days, 60 days, or whatever else it is, and whatever, or we have to wait 30 days, 60 days, or whatever it is to find out. That's fine. I don't really care. But if TNA can, then I really feel like saying, hey, well, he's available. Let's drag him in for the AMC thing, because that will make that even bigger and even better. And it will get people talking. That's the main thing, to get people talking, from day one. Oh shit, they've got Champa. Oh shit, they've got Karrion Kross. Oh shit, they've got this person. They've got Jericho. Whatever it is, or whoever, whatever. I don't know. But again, like I say, you can't get everyone and anyone and everyone. But if you can look at saying, okay, let's bring in some of these guys, or try to bring in some of these guys. Let's pull it all out. Pull out our best shot to do this. Then that's what you have to do. You have to do these things to bring in people who are going, oh man, I remember Champa. He was awesome. Why didn't WWE make him more of a big deal? Oh, well, maybe he'll become a big deal here in TNA. There's a bit of competition here, obviously, and he might not win the belt for a while. It's not like he's just going to get handed the belt like the old days. And I think that should be one of those, that should almost be his story, in some ways. He expects to be handed the belt, perhaps, sort of thing. I've already been to the big leagues, sort of thing, and whatever. It's one of those difficult things, because again, when you're debuting somebody or returning somebody, the initial might be oh, well, everyone's going to be happy to see them, so there should be a baby face or whatever. But you can obviously make somebody a heel or whatever very easily. So I do feel like you can do that. So that I feel like him in that role might work very well. And again, it sort of can play into the storyline that you've already kind of been telling, but it can also be your own separate thing. And this is, again, where I feel like we've got to have our own separate things. Stop relying on WWE. Even, if you get WWE guys for a few months or whatever, you can ask them to say, is this all right, or is that okay? Or can we get your feedback or your input on this, or whatever else it is, because we're a little bit stuck, or whatever else it is. But, especially with their guys or whatever, but saying we're going to be totally reliant on you guys to make things happen for us is just a recipe for, for issues. And I don't like the WWE and everything that they're doing, so I'm not really gonna, shout their praises or do anything like that. But for now, you are partnered with them. For now, this is what you're doing to try to get buzz about yourself and try to get, the most casual of casual people tuning in and saying, okay, cool, you do have stuff for me and things that I might want to see and all this other stuff. So there is something to tune into each week for me to care about. So I will tune in, perhaps, if I'm sort of lapsed AEW or lapsed WWE fan or something like that, or just casually lapsed fan and looking for something on a Thursday night, or even a lapsed TNA fan, coming back, give it another go, whatever. So you've got to make whoever's going to tune in to give it a go or give it another go, those things that, will keep them hooked and not make them tune out. Not that you can't have cartoony things or whatever else it is, or funny things or comedy or whatever. People think that that's what ruins things. It's not, but, it's having it in the wrong way or having, trying too hard sometimes or whatever else it is, I think the hometown man is the right level of kind of little bit goofy, but, ultimately fine. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. I think that it can do well, and I do think that you can do stuff with it. But again, at a certain point, you've got to say, well, Cody is looking to retire or is getting on in years, and it is time for him to sort of pass the torch or whatever else it is, or just slow down or whatever else it is, or move into more of a backstage role or whatever it is. So now it's time for him to have his last dance, so to speak, or whatever else it is. Same for a lot of people that are there. Time for them to take a backstage. Or if they're already taking a more, not literal backstage, but more of a supporting role, let's say, like Eddie Edwards and Rosemary and a couple other people like Eric Young and whatnot, it's like, yes, they're there, but they're more in a supporting role or whatever else it is. So, again, let's move them into that role or whatever else more and more and more, and finally move along when we have enough other superstars or enough other people to really replace them or to intrigue the fans enough for many weeks and months later. Because again, we've got to have things for them to do down the road. Bear Bronson seems like another great pickup thus far from what we've seen. And I think Champa would be also another great pickup. There's a lot of great pickups that they could do. And it seems like a lot of these guys that are on the indies, for one reason or another, either AEW's not interested or WWE's not interested, or whatever else the case may be, or they're not interested. I think that's the case more so with Karrion Kross. He's not as interested because they've kind of burned that bridge, so to speak, with him or what have you. I don't know, perhaps not, but whatever. But still, he might be like, well, am I going to go to TNA? I don't know. Well, are they going to offer me some good money? Well, maybe then I'm going to TNA if they're offering me some good money. And now Don Callis isn't there, or now we've patched up some of the issues from the past or whatever else it was or whatever. Maybe you can't, maybe you can, I don't know. But again, I don't think Champa has any of those issues. You don't need to worry about that with him, but you might need to worry about it with some other people. But again, for one reason or another, these guys, even if you say Matt Cardona was there or whatever, he also was in TNA. He really wasn't loyal to anyone until, now that he's gone to WWE. But he played anyone who, or went to get paid for anyone who would say, come work for us for a few weeks, come work with us for a month or two or whatever it is, so that's where you're at. You're at that point of saying, yep, okay, cool. bring in, do some stuff with you, and, you know, help us out with, you know, with what we're doing, and we'll bring in and give you some time to shine or whatever, you know. So, but yeah, guys, I think Champa could be good in TNA. I think he could reinvent himself, or just go back to doing some of the sort of stuff that he was doing in his title run, his NXT World title run. I think that was like his peak over there. But you can't just recreate just the same thing. You've got to have something more or whatever. Maybe he could be part of the cleanse. I don't know. Don't know whether that makes 100% sense, but he could work his way into that, or he could do something else. I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of potential for him. I see this as a great pickup potentially for TNA, even if it's in 30 days or 60 days or whatever else it is. So either way, I think it's good. But anyway, guys, that's about it. Hope you've enjoyed this one. Hope you join me again in another one.